Subscribe. It is the mind of Mr. Nagazilla. 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 Old dude is now live. Like, share, subscribe. It is the mind of Mr. Nagazilla. 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 Old dude is now live. Like, share, subscribe. It is the mind of Mr. Nagazilla. 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 Nagazilla.
Comey. So again, the same thing. You were designated the next year, and that's how they do all this, and then explain it.
They do. Now, so the servers, the computers, how do they communicate? You get black operatives. I'm going to put one on the screen. This is what Ed Martin knows. That drone strike back in 2014, they found this guy basically in 2018, who was actually, he had leaked information from the DOD that Obama approved a drone strike on protesters. Well, guess what? He's a U.S. Army colonel. His name is Franco Bradley. It's all documented. And guess what they found when they asked Bradley why he was at the March for Our Lives rally in Boston in 2018? He said he was carrying weapons because he was working with a secret government agency on a secret mission dealing with what? A secret virus, okay? All of these black operatives, here's the key point. These black operatives,
and you don't mean black because he's black. You mean secret for people that don't know.
No, and that's exactly what I mean. I hit the wrong button. The black operatives I'm referring to. That's right. We have to be very cautious what we say. People are sensitive. The black operatives communicate in these servers on child porn chat rooms. If you breathe a word of it, you go to jail for possession of having child pornography. You know who discovered that? Alex Jones. Your attorney, Norm Pattis, years ago discovered that the FBI was running 23 child porn servers. And from my cases, we found out.
Name the base.
It's called Fort Washington, Maryland. That information was provided to the senior FBI officials at headquarters in October last year. I gave them all of the documentation of all the receipts, that hard drives from a whistleblower that was turned in, and we told them exactly where to go find him in the burn bags at the CIA's OIG. This bust this thing wide open, and Ed Martin was at the center of exposing all of this.
That beats a former political prisoner. Talk about conspiracy against rights. That's how they had to release him, because it was a conspiracy against a journalist. He can speak to all of this, but I want to go to him in a moment because there's been some gigantic developments. I wanted to cover Epstein and his take first and how big this is. It has now come out in the emails and the documents that Bill Gates is a total whoremonger, which has been well known for a long time, and was having sex with so many prostitutes, looks like underage, in Eastern Europe, you name it, and with Epstein in Paris, that they were hanging out constantly, that he had a bunch of venereal diseases, and he thought he'd gotten Melinda Gates sick. And so he was trying to get drugs that were liquid antibiotics to put in her drink. Well, Melinda Gates, Melinda French is her maiden name, throws ex-husband Bill to the wolves over Epstein. You've got some explaining to do. She just came out and said this. So the rats are leaving the sinking ship. Andrew Monbutton, which is another fake name in the House of Windsor. Their true name is Saxe-Coburg Gotha, and then a bunch of Hungarian names. Their original first bloodline goes to Vlad the Impaler. You cannot make it up. Yes, that's Count Dracula. If you think I'm joking, type in British Pearl bloodline, Count Dracula. It stops with him. It starts with him. You can't make it up, okay? You look at a breed of dogs, it'll say, well, 200 years ago, this dog and this dog were bred, and then that created the line of whatever. That literally Count Dracula. That's why Bram Stoker wrote it about. They live under the church. They come out at night and kill people. Count Dracula brings babies to his queens. I mean, it's an allegory for what they're doing. So he's heavily involved with Epstein. So's the king. All of them. He's already been stripped of his royal title. Now he's reported to the police. So headline: the former backup king of England is now in the police department of Epstein. He's now in jail basically. Yeah, boy, things are moving fast. So here's Melinda Gates. It's a longer interview, but here she is. This is so massive. We'll get Pete Santilli's expert take on this. He works heavily with the white hats at the DOJ. Just leave it at that. Here it is.
I think we're having a reckoning as a society, right? No girl should ever be put in a situation that they were put in by Epstein and whatever was going on with all of the various people around him. No girl. I mean, it's beyond heartbreaking, right? I remember being those ages those girls were. I remember my daughters being those ages, right? So for me, it's personally hard whenever those details
woman, I don't even believe you might be a woman anyway.
come up, right? Because brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage, but I have moved.
You ain't moved on, bitch, like you ain't know nothing about it, like you wasn't in on it. You crazy.
Moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away and I moved on. I'm in a really unexpected, beautiful place in my life. So whatever questions remain there, what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me.
Well,
and I am so happy to be away from all the muck that was there.
I have to put more words to the muck for context for our listeners. The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details.
Sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad. That's the truth, right? And it's kind of like, at least for me, I've been able to move on in life. And I hope there's some justice for those now women, right? We see them standing up in front of microphones in D.C. What they went through is just unimaginable, I think.
Well, you have the former wife, Nicole Shanahan, who did get out for real, exposing Sergey Brin as being happy for the lockdown, saying it's all part of the takeover, our new world order, saying that they kept the wives as front groups and launder money, but not in the case of Melinda Frank. She's a eugenicist. She's involved. Once Gates got caught, they broke off to try to protect everything with her. So she's so glad she's not part of it anymore. Yeah, right. She's heavily involved, wearing her upside-down crosses on TV. So this is gigantor, and you have the king's brother, who's in line for the throne, removed from the royal family in police custody today over Epstein. And then you have all these talk show hosts like Roe Barker on ABC and saying, we all knew about Epstein, but we weren't allowed to break it. What a big story. Didn't care about the kids, cared about the big story she missed. You have John McCain's wife saying, after he died, we all knew what Epstein was doing. Oh, yeah, you all knew, huh? Now let's play her. Here's a clip of McCain's wife.
Plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that was, legal aspect that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him. All of a sudden, someone said, BS. We're not afraid of you anymore. And what you're doing is not only wrong, it's illegal, it's, all those things. It's like a house of cards now. It's going to start tumbling, believe me. And these guys, if they don't leave the country, number one, they're going to get caught. And not only will they get caught, but they're going to be made examples of. And that's exactly what we should be doing with these guys, especially. In my opinion, if, I know there's...
Ladies and gentlemen, now Andy Roebuck, ABC News. These are rats leaving the sinking ship. If you're the wife of John McCain, you know all about it. You do nothing. You're complicit. If you're Andy Roebuck, you know about it. You do nothing. You're complicit. At least go report it. I knew about it 20 years ago, I suppose. Epstein Silly, 30 years ago. With Ted Gunderson, 32 years ago. So I did my job. Here's the ABC News reporter. Look at Pete Santilli this say.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had hurtful allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us in a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that we had also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations that I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
And she's only pissed that she didn't get the scoop. What a sociopath narcissist. So, Santelli, thanks for holding 10 minutes. I appreciate you doing that. I know I had you on about Ed Martin being fired, DOJ, what's coming next. You've got a lot of inside baseball from your sources. I talk to you all the time, and it's always been accurate. What a rebirth from being a political prisoner, now to where you are today. But just watching this, I mean, this isn't going anywhere. This is only getting bigger. And all these people from Bill Gates' wife to the rest of them who all knew, now they want to act like they're not part of it, saying, oh, they all need to flee the country. No, they need to flee the country. Pete Santelli, what's your take on this and what's your inside baseball?
Believe it or not, people like Ed Martin, who was he was on that working group to end the weaponization of government. That's an understatement as to what he was knowledgeable of. The internal communications or mechanism of communicating, of holding leverage and blackmail over others. There is a network that Ed Martin was fully aware of. I have it dated back in May of 2025.
Yeah, he was able to read emails and everything of Jack Smith. He had it all.
That's right. In addition to that, there was some hidden stuff that was kind of buried at the Central Intelligence Agency's Office of Inspector General from years ago, where they had whistleblowers come forward and provide hard drives of data of all the crimes against the United States of America. This is what Ed Martin was at the center of. I asked the question this morning, what did he know? He knew a lot. Remember the Nexium trials, how it came out in open court, how the only way that you're allowed to even get into their inner circles in the club is you have to have essentially collateral or blackmail material that they hold in their possession. You have to have a video of yourself raping a young child or something like that. The reason why nobody will say anything or come forward is because that they have that level of blackmail over them. If you breathe a word of it, you go to jail for the crimes that you've committed.
And that's what the insiders, anybody that tries who's a good guy, they come after you and your family.
That's correct. And anybody that from the outside that's a good guy, like Ed Martin, that becomes aware of all this stuff, you know what they do? They send him to, as you said, Siberia, or, he's a pardon attorney. I'm laughing about this.
North Pole.
It's not going to make the information he has go away.
Yes, for people who don't know, Todd Blanche is on record doing this, and I noticed an immediate attack on Martin last night by fake Trump supporters, white pillars, saying, no, Martin never got anything done. He's bad. Trump knows what he's doing. No, I guarantee you Trump's not involved in this. He loves Martin. This is a bold move. I haven't talked to Martin in a while, but you talked to him a lot. What was he working on? Because we know Blanche blocked everything he was doing. That was confirmed. What the hell? Why would they make this move?
I will say this, okay? We have an entire group of people, because it's so overwhelming. Bundy Ranch was 2014, as you can imagine, when InfoWars started covering them. By the way, I have pictures and stuff like this, so I can not just name drop, but look at, here we are. There's Judge Michelle Fiore, Eric Parker, Jeanette Finicum. An entire delegation went to sit down with Ed Martin, and we have reams of legal documentation of exactly how the deep state operated. It also included the National Security Council under Obama authorizing an armed predator drone strike against the American people.
Yeah, for me, you bring up Bundy Ranch and then what happened, in those different states, and you get arrested. It's not you going like a dog to vomit. It was a window into how this all works. And Obama wanted to use predators and kill citizens that got you then in with the white hats in the government.
That's absolutely correct. As a matter of fact, something happened back then, and it's not old news. Actually, it's all been a blessing in disguise, because it allowed me and us the opportunity, through looking at the discovery, to see all their communications methods, where their servers are located, how the FBI had 20-something, child porn servers set up so that the deep staters and the black hatters could communicate in child porn chat rooms. We gave them the exact location of where those servers were when President Trump came back into office, and it went all the way up the chain.
Here's an analogy. Trump did this. He was about to strike Iran a week ago to make them scramble their people, do their communications, learn where they're at. By you being president of the Bundy Ranch thing and that whole saga, that was a way for white hats, was it on purpose, to then track back their intel. And we'll get to your case. I got a lot I want to, but let's talk bigger about Epstein, Martin, Trump, what's happening with the DOJ. What do you think Trump's next moves are? Why they got rid of Martin?
We're going to fast forward. And this is, as a matter of fact, I think I texted you when we were going back and forth on Epstein. And off the cuff, I said, because of what I'm aware of, I'm understanding that there's a vault in Mexico that has all the blackmail material. When President Trump said that it's a hoax, it's because all the filing cabinets that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino looked at were all scrubbed. All the blackmail material.
This stuff is, what is it we're not getting?
What we're not getting was just revealed in an FBI 302 report that somebody in Mexico had indicated that they had blackmail material found in a vault in Mexico. So Melinda Gates and all these people, all these high, powerful elite, and I would assume President Trump had nothing to do with it, but he's well aware of the fact that this blackmail material exists, and it's still being held over the heads of all these rulers and corporate executives around the world.
And they're all organizing
Trump,
right now. Nothing's been found on Trump. If I found something on Trump, I'll put it out. So what do you expect? This is devastating for the Democrats. I mean, my God, this is small children being delivered to be raped and tortured. I mean, this is all out. The corporate media's not picking it up, but it's all here, Pete.
It's slipped, and I haven't been told this specifically. It has slipped. I think Speaker Johnson mentioned it once that, and I heard this from other sources as well, that through the Epstein investigation, that President Trump actually became an informant. He was providing information to the intel services. As you know, billionaires like Patrick Byrne, they have communications. They're traveling worldwide with the intel services and providing information. I'm understanding that President Trump was an informant and provided a lot of information on what he discovered.
Well, sometimes you have to, and I've always disclosed it. When I had one arm, the Obama group, once Trump was already in trying to set me up with Russian money, I went to the FBI, another arm of it, and gave them a report to my lawyers. And then later they said, oh, Jones came to the FBI. Well, yeah, to expose the other arm of it. And it's the same thing. They sent in private investigators, obviously out of the Paul Weiss group, from the intel we have, to try to hire a security company and then say, well, you work for Jones. So you obviously rape women and do all this stuff. And we record him. We brought it to the FBI. That's not us being informants. That's us going to the FBI and saying, your other arm, your other tentacle's doing this. We know it's you. Stop it.
That's exactly right. And to provide information on criminal activity, it's kind of like, Don Lemon. This is why he's in such big trouble.
Somebody comes to my security company and says, we know you work for Alex Jones. We're going to hire you to help us do crimes. They're asking you to commit a crime. We had to go report to the FBI.
That's right, because if you don't, and I know this very, very well because of my cases, they could never prove that I met all three elements of the conspiracy. You have to agree, you have to meet in advance, and then somebody needs to take an overt act. Don Lemon met with them. He didn't opt out of it. He actually showed up and participated.
He said, we're about to run an operation on the street.
Yeah, so all of these people that are aware of these crimes right now, the grand conspiracy, I'm glad you bring this up because this is where we're going right now. As of October, and Alex, you and I know that there was that rumor floated by FBI COINTELPRO that I was an FBI informant. I never was officially until October of last year. I showed you my communication just to prove it up. I contacted a U.S. attorney and provided evidentiary proof, documented proof, met with senior FBI officials at headquarters, providing evidence that Comey, Brennan, Clapper, all of them running this NSA equivalent surveillance system, blackmail system.
You had to meet with them, or you have a knowledge of criminal reporting, not part of it. And we know the source you got it from. You say that separately. Our operation got hacked by the guys, and that led back to it.
Yes.
We didn't go there, though. We're about to follow suit on them. Just maybe. Here's the problem. You're so sophisticated, by the way, you're so deep. You're talking all this stuff. I can barely follow. The listeners are hearing all this, not getting what's going on. Let's talk from a 35,000 foot view before we go break. Look at your case and all that.
Let's do it. I'll let you guys.
Obviously, the state's got to be shitting bricks right now with this Epstein stuff.
They are taking out Ed Martin's not going to stop anything from coming because the evidence that I provided to get Comey and Brennan indicted and put in jail forever is that there's two grand juries in Florida. I want everybody to have taking out Ed Martin isn't going to slow us down at all.
I just wonder if Trump loves Ed Martin. I wonder if Trump even knows this happened.
President Trump knows a lot. He knows much more. I can't even imagine how he's able to keep all of these secrets, including all the information about the election fraud out of Venezuela. That's going to be coming. All the whistleblower testimony that General Flynn and Patrick Byrne put together and Tulsi Gabbard's prepared a report. He just says, let's see what happens. You're going to see some exciting things. He knows exactly what's happening and the fact that we're going to be able to read all that stuff.
By the way, Byrne said we're going to grab Maduro before. He's not just making that stuff up. And he said all the Epstein stuff is going to come out. I mean, it's happening.
That's right. Back in 2023, I don't know if you've ever heard the name of Peter Tickton. He's somebody who went to school with President Trump
I've had him on the show.
The military academy.
Really smart.
So they have a trusting relationship.
Very famous, successful lawyer. Yeah.
Yes, very, very trusting. President Trump went to school with him. So the gatekeepers
they were roommates. They're good friends.
That's correct. Peter Tickton had information, and guess what it was about? It was about the fact that the deep state used a FISA warrant to surveil a Ukrainian national in order to spy on Giuliani and President Trump. We have documented proof of it on the court record. President Trump knew that he was being spied on by the deep state through a FISA warrant back in 2023, and people tried to block it from getting to him. Peter Tickton went to Mar-a-Lago.
That was the guy with looks like the Monopoly man with what was his name? He got indicted too. They haven't dropped the neocon, John Bolton.
John Bolton. It was actually a guy named Lev Parnas, believe it or not, when Rudy Giuliani was heavy in the
Bolton blocked all that stuff about Trump being spied on too from him. He lied. Remember how Harry Reid said we're going to lie in the briefings?
Oh my goodness, yes, yeah, absolutely.
See, we're bouncing around as experts here. We got to not. We're dumbing it down. I'm barely following you, and you're it's so complex. We got to dumb this down. Okay, we'll be back with Pete Santilli. You can find him at Peter Santilli on X. I'm here to announce a new, extremely exciting product at thealexshowstore.com, and that's Mindfuel. We're talking about the same folks that developed Optimal Human. This is an Optimal Human product. We set out with our sponsor, Bickley, to come out with a clean, nootropic energy shot that doesn't have any letdown. It gives you clean energy for the element. Fail research product. Protein was embedded in his or above my class. As the general public kind of tunes into the news, even the informed, and I don't blame them. God, they're lucky. They just don't have depth. So next segment, we're going to get into the current developments. Your sources, what you know. That I separately, when you told me about some of this a few months ago, I've been told to know about it. And I was like, yeah, I know about that. The strangest thing, how they use a CIA base to then hack into our stuff and act like, they got it this way for the court and all that. We have that. And now that you're bringing it up, that's going to be coming out soon, conspiracy against rights. And then how that then leads to all this and another investigation with the DOJ into it. And that's just one area. And the enemy knows it, so why don't the general public know it? But this is like a real James Bond movie. It's not like a shootout with helicopters. A real James Bond thing is constant warfare at every level and lawsuits and propaganda and disinfo and your family being targeted and operatives and planting stuff. And it's much more complex and exhausting than people know, Pete, right?
It is. As a matter of fact, I had such a great conversation in the previous segment. I was so immersed in it that I almost realized, and I did exactly what I didn't want to do. Here, I wanted to do this. I wanted to show a picture, for instance, of the computers. I mean, we identified exactly where these computers are located and provided this information. Look at think all the way back to May of 2025. This is the first contact we had with Ed Martin's office. So Ed Martin got all of our material. It's all legally documented, and I'm gonna share with you a couple of things. We had to help Kash Patel out. You see this picture here? Kash Patel's running around giving awards and building a relationship with the rank and file. Well, the guy that's in this picture over his right shoulder is a guy named Joseph Astorita, who lied under oath and went up to trial because of the wrongful death of Lavoy Finicum back in 2016. And Kash Patel was giving him the FBI's highest award. That's really what got us to sit down and say, look, we know about the SPLC. We know about their communications methods. We know how they're spying. And we know how they're attempting to overthrow the United States of America.
You're the key. We had SPLC 4 years ago infiltrate us, jacking our security cameras for a year. And of course, they found nothing, but I mean, they are the CIA.
You know, I actually identified, and thank God they acted right away. Thank God the FBI removed them. The SPLC was actually providing consultation. They were providing training meetings to law enforcement, when in fact, they were operating, even dating all the way back to, Buddy Ranch, Mallier, and a couple of other events. They were operating as FBI informants. We had them.
By the way, listeners are hearing this like, this is that. Paul Weiss Law Firm, SPLC infiltration. Yeah, folks, I'm like on the deck of a ship with my hair on fire. So's Pete, like he's been in prison for years, released innocent. This is a freaking war. We're not trying to brag, but we're really men in the arena. All these other keyboard people, who don't say their names, you have no idea. If somebody's real, they're gonna have scars or they're gonna be dead.
Alex, okay, let's bring it full circle, okay? Let's let everybody know, like, of all this stuff and the complexity that's happened over the years, they're complex. They have, in Afghanistan, they built 900 NGOs to launder money.
I want you to go back to the servers. Doctors over 5 years old, me too, okay? I get it, Pete, you gotta just come back. We gotta it's just all bombshell on bombshell. I'm revealing a lot here, by the way, because he's bringing it up. We've been through hell, folks, but on the other side, we've just been stronger, and I cannot quantify how big these FC files are. Total devastation to globalists. Rats leaving the sinking ship. Bill Clinton's wife coming out against him saying he should basically go to prison. Pete Santilli, you have been a political prisoner. That's how you bet the White House, got involved, been advising Ed Martin. Now he's been removed. You got the servers, the military base. Go ahead and say it all. Used to attack us. Used to run child porn servers. Used for Democrat operations. Start there, and then the other big news about where this is going. It's Pete Santilli.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We heard most recently with Minnesota, the signal chats, how they're communicating. If you really started digging into those signal chats, you see all these NGOs, how they communicate. I mean, it is, if you think that I'm overwhelming the audience, which I am, with so much minutia and detailed information, there are current State Department officials, there's former State Department officials that are leading this effort, this color revolutionary effort.
It's not just state reps and state senators and the governor's office of Minnesota. It's commanded by the State Department. Even though Rubio's there and he has tried to dismantle it, they're still digging in.
Yeah, and this deep investigation, I mean, you know what? The investigation into the NGOs started back in 2018. A former InfoWars, a great investigative journalist, Millie Weaver, started digging into that. She's been looking into it ever since. Now she's finding she's still deep infiltrated. There's people that are on payroll of the U.S. government within the administration.
Yeah, that's a Sunshine Project.
Yeah, and now there's even newer ones. There's a whole host of them. You definitely want to sit down with Millie because she's exposed it, and it's gone to the highest levels of our government. But I'm not going to digress. Look at this. Check this out. So what did Ed Martin know? Ed Martin knows where the servers are located. Why is that important? Because when I mentioned the drone strike,
you found out about this. Well, second sources in a separate investigation. This was used to hack my law cases against me in the rig cases. It's a CIA base. Explain it.
Yes. And from Bundy Ranch, we determined that when they deem us to be domestic terrorists, it's for the purposes of surveilling us. Comey, Brennan, Clapper, Clinton, this grand conspiracy, they built their own NSA.
And now released it. Again, I'm in the top 30 people in Arctic frost being targeted. When Trump got in, I got a DVD from the FBI that was shown where Obama declared me a national security threat in 2013 with Comey. So again, same thing, you were designated the next year, and that's how they do all this, and then explain it.
They do. Now, so the servers, the computers, how do they communicate? You get black operatives. I'm going to put one on the screen. This is what Ed Martin knows. That drone strike back in 2014, they found this guy basically in 2018 who was actually, he had leaked information from the DOD that Obama approved a drone strike on protesters. Well, guess what? He's a U.S. Army colonel. His name is Franco Bradley. It's all documented. And guess what they found when they asked Bradley why he was at the March for Our Lives rally in Boston in 2018? He said he was carrying weapons because he was working with a secret government agency on a secret mission dealing with what? A secret virus. Okay? All of these black operatives, here's the key point. These black operatives.
And you don't mean black because he's black. You mean secret for people that don't know.
No, and that's exactly what I mean. I hit the wrong button. The black operatives I'm referring to, that's right. We have to be very cautious. What we say, people are sensitive. The black operatives communicate in these servers on child porn chat rooms. If you breathe a word of it, you go to jail for possession of having child pornography. You know who discovered that, Alex Jones? Your attorney, Norm Pattis, years ago discovered that the FBI was running 23 child porn servers. And from my case, we found out.
Name the base.
It's called Fort Washington, Maryland. That information was provided to the senior FBI officials at headquarters in October of last year. I gave them all of the documentation of all the receipts, the hard drives from a whistleblower that was turned in, and we told them exactly where to go find him in the burn bags at the CIA's OIG. This bust this thing wide open, and Ed Martin was at the center of exposing all of this.
And I know that without getting into details. Just when I'm up at D.C., they have Army intelligence and NSA specialists there. That's what's going on. And now we have Tulsi Gabbard 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, raiding with the new deputy director of the FBI out of Missouri, who's hardcore. Georgia, this is hardcore.
It is hardcore. They've done really bad things. We caught them. I mean, I have to say this. If I have anything to do with it, multiple agencies, multiple levels, Pam Bondi received a hand-delivered copy of all the evidence, documented legal proof of everything that I'm saying.
No, so what do you make of
he was sworn in.
Bill Gates' ex-wife coming out? We have all the other ex-wives of all of them saying they're all going to jail. What do you make of that?
Bill, I can't imagine that Cindy McCain and Bill Gates is what, like those people, just because they're wives, that they're detached from this. I really can't even imagine that. I'm sure that they have some sort of a blackmail leverage over them as well, because they're pretty powerful women, are they not? You can't become powerful unless they have collateral over your head. So for her to come out like that, I just cannot imagine she's not aware.
Notice I'm saying I'm clear, I'm fine, I'm not part of it. McCain's wife, I'm not part of it.
She may not be part of the stuff that Bill Gates was doing on the island, but she's got criminal activity that they have collateral over her head. You can't even become powerful and rich without
the buying off the politicians, the scientists, and the regulators.
That's how they control all these politicians. Do you remember back in the day when 5,000 Pentagon employees were found to have had child porn on their computers? Remember that? It wasn't because they were looking at child porn. It's because that's how they communicate and that's how they leverage. You can't even get promoted to the general level or the upper echelons of the military without having that level of collateral. They're communicating with jihadists. That's how they communicate among each other. So I'm assuming that both Cindy McCain and Bill Gates' wife have that level of collateral over them as well.
His chief of staff over all his properties got caught with the biggest private child porn collection ever, remember? And then he was given, Bill Gates, he was given probation.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact,
including thousands of snuff films, babies being sacrificed. And now that's in the new WikiLeaks, what I'm calling the Epstein file, literally talking about murdering children. Confirmed.
Yes, these revelations, these recent revelations, it's so overwhelming. I think that's what it's designed to do.
I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone right now, Pete.
What's that?
I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone.
Oh, it's going to get worse. It's going to get much, much worse because when everything comes out and we realize how corrupt the system is, it has to be rebuilt.
Well, that was my next question. I mean, there's no way they stop this now. I agree with Liz Crokin earlier. This is 100 times bigger than WikiLeaks. What are they going to do?
It is. You know what they need to do? They need to go to Bill Barr and ask him what he did with all of the laptops they had. The Wiener laptop, the Imran Awan laptop, because they're all tied to
what Wiener, what, 12 cops see it, 12 cops get murdered in New York.
Right. That's right. And it has everything to do with what we're discussing right now. All of this stuff.
Because that laptop,
remember Hillary Clinton's servers?
Was the control server?
Yeah, Hillary Clinton's servers and how Comey covered that up. Comey was part of it, of course.
And it was Comey and his daughter that kept all secret Epstein stuff in New York.
That's right, because they used that as leverage against Hillary Clinton, knowing she was going to become president, and they would thereby control. You've heard that from Patrick Byrne, correct?
Yes.
He actually set up a bribe to do that. They built this system, a surveillance system, a blackmail system, the Nexium sex cult, all of it was built to control.
And he was sent in by
the levers of power
to set up Hillary with the deep state. He figured it out and turned against him, and he's now vindicated.
I think Obama, this is just connecting dots only.
By the way, it's Muslim Brotherhood.
That's absolutely correct. That's a separate topic too. But
Brennan
and Obama.
All the anti-Israel folks, I spent hours on Israel yesterday that said this stuff. Israel is manipulating us, a big problem. But Qatar spends tens of billions a year here, and it is a major cutout as well.
Terminal in the White House, accessing this computer system that Brennan and Comey and Clinton controlled.
William Binney, the head of technical, the NSA, the greatest mathematician probably in history, he told me 15 years ago, 10 years ago, he said he found out that Obama had back doors built in all of it for them.
Yes, you know who's on my team right now? I have a team, and I'm not going to disclose too much. Guess who's right now working on what we're talking about right now?
I didn't know that was
William Binney.
Wow, congratulations.
William Binney. Absolutely locked in. All these cybersecurity experts that are working on this. But here's the bottom line. Everyone needs to recognize this, that Barack Obama had access to this, and guess what he did? He set up blackmail against the Israeli intelligence services. He rolled the Israeli intelligence services.
That's right. Israel's got problems. I'll bash them all day, but don't understand. Mossad says that, no, compared to the CIA and the deep state, definitely Israel's the tail, not the dog.
I know this for a fact. I mean, actually, the evidence was submitted. It's at the CIA's OIG. All Ed Martin and the team of people that know about all this.
Where's the example? You've got Ed Brock, former intelligence head and president, calling Epstein, trying to get $1 million contracts to make money with big tech. Israel, like people always say cover for Israel. No, I interviewed the Joint Chiefs of Staff, all of them. It was Johnson ordered Israel to attack the Liberty to go to war with Egypt and Russia, just like Gulf of Tonkin 2.0. And then they go, oh, you're covering for Israel. Israel attacked the ship. Our own government was with them doing it. That isn't the defense of Israel. It's what happened. I was told that.
Alex, I would be, okay, no, I'm just speculating. It's way above my pay grade. Ehud Barak, nils. Israel is concerned about the blackmailing of their entire intel services. If you ever wondered why Israel didn't respond appropriately on October 7th?
Because Robert Maxwell was Mossad MI6, but they reversed it, took over, and Epstein was mainly CIA, and they just blackmailed Israel.
They have all of the evidence. It is right now sitting at 2 grand juries in Florida. The stuff that I'm talking about, if all the detailed information, documented legal proof, all they had to do was go look at the evidence, present it to a grand jury, and this is what they're going to do. They're going to bring a grand conspiracy against John Brennan, Barack Obama, Susan Rice. This is going to be, they're going to do a roundup. I'm speculating here. If they do this right, it is such a grand conspiracy. They're going to take some of our front-facing, people that we want to do perp walks, but it's going to be thousands of people that have been involved in this conspiracy.
Let's be clear, John Bolton, we now know, is their double agent spy, confirmed, giving him all the intel on Trump and lying to him. That's what got him first, because he's the domino that connects to them.
John Bolton is so dirty, he's done. I mean, he's absolutely done. They caught him, and all they need to do is go back into the archives. They can go into the archives. They have access to it. We told them where the discs were that are in the CIA's OIG. The government acknowledged they had them. All they need to do is open them up and look at them. That's all they need to do. Bring it to the grand jury, and everyone goes to the gallows. And it's happening right now, sir.
So let's talk about
right
this.
Now.
I know this is happening. You see the movement. What is the deep state going to do now this is coming out? They're very dangerous right now.
Yeah, and I think that's why everyone's being vague. And Tulsi Gabbard's like, well, I can't tell what's going on. We know what I think you and I know what Tulsi Gabbard has as to the report about the Venezuela whistleblowers.
Oh, I told you in the White House meeting 3 months ago. I told you in January, which happened, Trump's going to start bringing out the Venezuela, Georgia, Arizona, all of it. That happened. I mean, they have it. I'm just speculating as to how they operate, and I'm sure you've had access to law enforcement, like in narcotics. They let it play out a little bit. They want to listen. They want to. They don't want to get the street corner drug dealer. They want to get El Chapo. So they need to see the lines of cash, the conspirators, so they can cast a broader net. I would bet $1 billion right now that the military has to be involved because it's that big. It's that corrupt. You're hearing Trump now saying that we need to federalize elections. That's a pretty significant statement because the system is that corrupt down to the county level. So I'm anticipating that, and I don't know if you've heard this intel, the Department of Energy, at the highest levels, they control our nuclear arsenal, they protect our electric grid. The Department of Energy, those military generals, basically had to take control because we're so out of control with foreign intrusion and stuff. Well, it's funny you say that. I'm not allowed to talk about it. This is incredible. I'm not going to actually. I'm going to wait.
You are.
I know for a fact.
By the way, anything I'm mentioning here, I'm not mentioning anything I was told to keep confidential. I'm just connecting dots.
Well, I wasn't told to keep it confidential. I know from separate sources. Austin's a major industrial base.
Yes.
Probably the biggest, fastest growing in the country, other than like Tennessee or Florida.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
An order came out a month ago to get all the former military and to go to all the security companies and to stage them at Tesla and power grids. You'll just see trucks parked there. And the enemy already knows this, so might as well put it out. But that's how close we're to floor with China. They are now put security at all this critical infrastructure that scale up with huge funds that they're doing through the corporations, but their corporations are funding not just guarding their factories, and they're told, and they're given printouts, look for Chinese military-age men and Muslim military-age men and prepare to be hit. And so they've actually got people staging, I'm not going to say with what, but let's say Overwatch. Mm-hmm. They got, let the enemy know, drones in the air, everything over critical infrastructure. That's how close we are right now, that everything's actually Tesla and at power grids. So you'll just see trucks parked there. And the enemy already knows this, so might as well put it out. But that's how close we're to floor with China. They are now put security at all this critical infrastructure that to scale up with huge funds that they're doing through the corporations, but their corporations are funding not just guarding the factories, and they're told, and they're given printouts, look for Chinese military-age men and Muslim military-age men and prepare to be hit. And so they've actually got people staging, I'm not going to say with what, but let's say Overwatch. Mm-hmm. They got, let the enemy know, drones in the air, everything over critical infrastructure. That's how close we are right now, that everything's actually airborne right now. So go ahead and say it.
You're not only right over the target, but I can say this, I can confirm this. There is a completely separate internet, a dark fiber system that was put in place, continuity of government type stuff, that China is deeply embedded in our internet. Instead of changing cash and like going from a fiat currency to a digital currency, we're going to do the modern day equivalent of, as Colin Powell says, cut them off and kill them. They won't be able to communicate at all. That this new internet system, new power grid, will be activated.
At Tesla and other facilities, they got guys that pick up trucks, automatic weapons and grenade launchers and everything else for aircraft coming in, ready to be attacked by Chinese. I mean, that's how bad this is. Believe me, they ain't staying people out there in trucks and building weapons for no reason.
I think it's even bigger than just China. I think the relations out of Venezuela, you got Cuba, you got a.
Well, what I'm telling you is they literally have armed paramilitary at critical infrastructure, government and private, all over the country, with even sophisticated weapons.
Yes, and we need to, and I think just speculating here that they're going to switch from that internet that they totally control. Newstar, have you ever heard of that company called Newstar? President Trump filed a REAP lawsuit in Florida. Now, everyone missed this. He referenced it 79 times in his lawsuit about Newstar.
Sure, well, my point is I've never seen a COG, I've never seen an InfraGard or COG that actually send out all these people. So the point is they have literally stood up an army domestically right now in infrastructure. So that means we're probably close to war with China.
I would assume it's bigger than that, Alex, not to overblow what you're saying. Imagine the 72 countries that were overthrown with the election fraud by Cuba, China, Russia for the past 20 years. Imagine how many countries are going to be involved in this. If they take the United States out in the fashion that they want to, they're not going to be able to.
My point is when they scramble COG defense forces and stand them up, the price must be billions a week. That means they think something big's about to happen.
Yeah, I think a major announcement is about to come out. And, it's going to be very destabilizing because they've got their minions all whipped up to go into the streets and think Trump's a dictator. But when he brings the hammer down, it's not going to come from him. He's the chief executive.
They're not telling the security people, the generals. Look for liberals or they're saying Chinese and Muslims.
Oh, yes, they're getting ready. And they're going to come out as
we know many different last week. 2 million military men didn't take the free cash, totally let in. They didn't even want to be signed up and let in. They wanted to be here secretly. 2 million.
Alex, you can look this up. 5 years ago, I remember I was tracking shipping containers full of AK-47 parts coming in from China in multiple locations. If you put them together, it was tens of thousands of AK-47s, and those are only the ones they caught. They've been shipping arms in for many years, getting ready for this moment. But I believe we caught them. I honestly believe we caught them.
Well, I wasn't going to talk about this until you arrested, but yeah, I mean, the fact that for the first time in my life, because I've got feelers everywhere for 30 years, they've never activated the real COG stuff. So.
Yeah, we're in continuity of government mode. Absolutely.
You'll notice a power switch plant in the middle of the country. You'll see a couple of trucks. You drive by a rail station, you'll see some trucks. You'll see an armored vehicle parked in the woods. You'll see a helicopter sitting over there. I mean, they're like locked and loaded, man.
Alex, I'm going to share one more thing before we go to break. I think you're absolutely right. I think you can add this just as an additional dot. This is what I do know. On Saturday, when I got in touch with the highest levels of our government about something very, very important, right? That person and the other person were sitting directly next to POTUS. And when they realized what additional information I had, it happened like that immediately. They are on this thing. I'm telling you, the generals at the highest level.
You'll see when Trump gets a question from a journalist, he goes, "Is that true? It's true." They're fired. Boom.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, and then they're out the door. I know.
Well, every American better be concerned that they're scrambling every former military person that has a security license, and then the special ones and former military. They're loaded. The government's like putting all the weapons out. They're like they got the guard bases up. They went shields up like Star Trek. Shields went.
They looked at sleep deprivation with creatine supplementation. And so they randomized people to either drink a placebo drink or drink 20 grams of creatine through the night. And they kept them with sleep deprivation with by putting temperature, like long, your body has so much.
And so I started making some calls, and so much is going on. I knew it was happening, but I was like, wow, they're hardening for the first time ever and scrambling private security services from mall cop level up to special operations, up to regular military they can pull in plain clothes around power stations, military bases, Tesla out here in Austin. They're not giving away any secrets. The enemy needs to know people are waiting for you. But they're saying, yeah, if you see Chinese or what looks like Muslims rising the perimeter and looks like they got weapons, let them up. I mean, that's literally, I mean, this is like, so that, but the government doesn't do stuff like that unless it's like bad. Is if they hit Iran, then it's China to hit Taiwan, it's China to activate all their sleeper cells we know came in. Holman last week, 2 million came in, didn't want to be identified. The government, a lot of those, let's say 500,000 of those, let's say a quarter full operatives. You saw the Chinese coming in, look like officer corps, 35, 40, with the same backpacks, same boots, and the Muslims are, saying, hey, we're here to take over. This isn't a game, okay? So I'll use the analogy of Wrath of Khan, for a clip here, where they're coming up, the Enterprise and the Reliant, and it's identifying itself, and they don't raise shields quick enough. That's basically where this country is, what people need to understand. Here it is.
Slow to one half in this power. Let's be friends. Slowing to one half.
It means.
What does that mean?
It means I know something, and I think you will know something as well. We saw some of it play out in Venezuela. That right now.
Not playing that, Alex.
I believe that we have the most sophisticated technology on planet Earth, and President Trump is starting to let our adversaries know that if we go to battle with those that have destroyed the United States of America, extracting trillions of dollars and offshoring it, that everything that we're seeing right now, they're not quitting. People like Norm Eisen and do you know the name Gene Sharp? Yes. Color revolutionary tactics. They're going to try to simulate an organic event, and it's not.
They're all Antifa. They all just ran to China last week.
It is all, whatever is happening, all the chaos, it's all manufactured.
The war with China has already begun.
The war with China's funding all of this. They're funding it, and this is the trigger event. They're going to trigger what looks to be an organic event, and that will allow all of the millions or hundreds of thousands of jihadists, gang members out of Venezuela. They emptied their prisons. You heard President Trump say that.
The intel is they're in the military and paramilitary. We look for Chinese. So that's the intel.
Right, but they get to blend in by using peaceful protesters as human shields. As soon as they can get millions of people out into the streets or hundreds of thousands of people out into the streets, that's where their operatives.
The administration believes from intel that there's a serious threat of them hitting infrastructure imminently.
They are, but we're better than that. I have full faith and confidence in the highest levels of our military. I have faith in it. I was in the military. I know what our continuity of government is capable of doing under these circumstances.
In fact, didn't you do training with X-84 in the Marines, right?
That's correct. Actually, back in the day, we had a process in continuity of government that shows you take a 3-ring binder off the shelf, and even if the president of the United States is gone, you've got a succession plan. Well, if our country has been overthrown, trillions have been extracted, that our nuclear arsenal is vulnerable through our cybersecurity, that Joe Biden was put in place through foreign interference in our elections, they will not turn over the football to Joe Biden. And those generals essentially have continuity of government orders that they must protect, defend, support the Constitution of the United States. And President Trump is that signatory that allows him to do that as the civilian authority.
That's why going to Venezuela is a show of strength of China.
This is not conspiracy theory. We're not. This isn't clickbaity stuff. This is happening right now. It is happening. That's why on Saturday.
I can assure you they got paramilitary surrounding COG now for the first time. It might be on there.
They are. And Alex, when I started getting urgent about those signal chats and the NGOs, Millie had told me I'm really concerned. They haven't stopped these guys. It sounds like they're desperate and they're about to go hot. So when I took
like
that
3 videos today of leftists saying, I'm a nurse. I'm going to kill conservatives, not just ICE now, and women. I'm going to go shoot ICE on the streets. I mean, they're just everywhere going crazy.
And that is part of the influence operation to get people ginned up. Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, keep people energized to go out and fight the fight. That's what they're pushing. It's a psychological warfare operation. General Flynn knows this very well. It's fifth generational style warfare. Once they get the peaceful protesters out there into the streets, those are the human shields, and that will draw out all the jihadists.
Talk about the power. I meant to do this last few days. So basically, we have the clips. Everybody saw it. Let me show you. Everybody knows it. Wednesday, the DNC says, and the NGOs say, we're activating the children. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But school days, then yesterday, my own crew saw it. I saw it in Austin. Elementary, middle school, high school, marching out, beating up adults on the street. Our children under the control of the National Teachers Union. I mean, this is malice. I mean, this is happening. This is so the Democrats say activate the kids, and then the next day they hit the street. I mean, that's power, though.
Are you familiar with Gene Sharp?
Yeah.
Gene Sharp's Dictatorship to Democracy. Before they had the internet, actually, the new Gene Sharp is Norm Eisen. He wrote the Democracy playbook. What they need is children. They need peaceful protesters holding flowers to die and to get shot because they'll use that.
Well, they told Axios that 6 months ago. They said we need to get
as a propaganda tool.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, a child is going to die. Oh, God forbid. Can you imagine? Renee,
and again, they're supposed to forget, so we got to get it out now. Like, they're literally sending children out the last 5-6 days everywhere trying to get one killed. Did you see the video out of Nebraska where the high school girl runs in front of the car to get hit?
Yes, the entire environment is manufactured for that to happen. They need it. They need a dead child. Just like the Palestinians and Hamas. First thing they do is they cue their camera people to get a shot of that and put the baby out for propaganda purposes. What does that do? That draws millions of people more out into the streets. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, for some idiots who cover Israel, we don't like what Israel does. We sure don't support Muslims blowing kids up. Like, you can be against both things, dummies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, if you get emotional enough to where they're forcing you to choose A or B, you know that you're right in the middle of psychological warfare. Choose a completely other option and don't even get emotionally charged because that's what they want. They want both sides emotionally charged, but ultimately they want to destabilize us.
I know. I pick up. I haven't even died. It's already enough those sources. I got state police sources, I got Texas Ranger sources, FBI sources, Austin PD, Travis County. I call them. Are you on alert for terrorist attacks? So the fact is, there's like this. Trump doesn't put alerts on for no reason.
No, Sarah Adams tracked, and Sean Ryan, I don't know if you tracked what they were putting out with the amount of money that was funneling into Afghanistan. Hamza bin Laden has been training jihadists, including those that went into
the October 7th that Biden gave them.
$80 to $100 million per week has been spent through 900
million in equipment that Biden gave them on purpose.
And Alex, you're a 9/11 historian. How much did it cost them to perpetrate 9/11? What, $500,000?
Yeah.
How much? What do you think they're going to do with $80 to $100 million a week? It's already been on the record. Blinken confirmed it.
Yeah, but they gave them $80+ billion in equipment in Afghanistan.
What are they going to do with that? They've already infiltrated our country. They're in the interior. They're waiting to activate.
Well, they used part of it over Syria. They used part of it over Syria.
Yeah, well, they went from October 7th, right? That was a smaller event. They needed 10,000 militants to go take over Syria. They did that. Their final step's going to be here in the United States of America. It's sad to say, but you know what? Everyone needs to understand, and we have to have faith. Otherwise, we're destroyed. The military knows all this. You and I know this. They know what's going on. They have the power to listen, and they have the most sophisticated weapons technology to defeat.
Right, but I don't think they should let the globalists want to see attack. They need to stop it before it happens.
You know, I think President Trump, the negotiator that he is, I think the Venezuela thing, you know about that secret sonic weapon, it's way, way deeper than that. I think the President Trump,
about that. The B-2 bombers are best technology. That's from 1967. So, yeah, no, they got a lot of stuff.
Were you aware were you aware of President Trump that his Truth Media Group, the TMG, merged with TAE, nuclear microreactor company?
Yeah, the free energy company, yeah.
Exactly. Now, I do believe, and not connecting dots. I mean, it's not
Trump said he wants
critical
to
minerals,
stop
the
technology.
We're going to be using all of that to defend us. That's what Greenland's so important.
These so-called mini nuclear reactors really aren't that, and the enemy already knows. Also, they're actually free energy events.
They are, and that free energy, the golden dome that President Trump refers to, and why he's going after Greenland for the minerals, because we have
we have to have the minerals. We have to have the minerals. That's the only place we were checkmate. And now the left's pissed. He went around trying to double pay and buy all the minerals.
Oh, yeah, we will dominate the world with, because they've also developed technology where we don't need a big, huge mine to go get gold out of the earth. We don't need, high concentrations. We can go into a coal mine. We can go anywhere. And the United States is all mapped out. President Trump knows where he can go get certain elements like antimony. What is it going to be used for? Well, guess what, Alex? All right, let me share this with you. There are black sites right now set up where they're extracting these minerals to be used for weapons technology right now that you and I will not.
He already sent the Pentagon in to take over silver smelting.
Yes, and he just announced yesterday the Project Vault to store all of it. We're going to go like gangbusters, collecting all these minerals that are going to be used for free energy technology and weapons technology. But we will dominate the world and have peace through strength, I believe. We have no choice. They want to destroy us. We have no choice.
I mean, the question is, did he launch the operation early enough? Because
I believe so. I believe so. I can't believe. Well, did you know that he signed the critical minerals national emergency in September of 2020? Did you know that?
Yes.
He was going after the critical minerals. And then they kick him dead. 4 years set us back a little bit. But
yeah, how did China get 98% mineral control? Because the globalists on record will put anybody in jail, whether you're French, German, American, Canadian, Australian. You try to go mine these things yourself, the bureaucracy puts you in jail. China had a deal. People don't know. They were supposed to expand militarily. They had a deal on rare earth minerals and the manufacturing hub. The globalists through the military. They double-crossed the globalists. The whole thing fell apart. That's why they admitted Davos, globalism was dead, because their own system failed of their own treason to themselves.
Sir, the military has been tracking. I know this for a fact. I can provide you the links. The fall of Afghanistan wasn't just about pulling out and scaling down. How China became a monopolist, 90% control of critical minerals. It was handed to them by people like Joe Biden that allowed them to come set up and tap into all the minerals.
China and France control the oil.
And guess what?
Trump is like, no, we get the oil this time.
And Joe Biden and these globalists strangulated our mining industry. It takes 29 years to tap into our natural resources here in the U.S.
Lead smelter in America.
One. What? I'm sorry, you broke up. What you said?
No, we don't have one lead smelter. We do now, Trump.
Oh, we have one. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That decapitation of our industrial base.
There's tens of quadrillions of natural resources wealth here, and we're buying them from China. Did you know there's 2,000 pounds of critical minerals that we get from China? It's in our F-32, I think that's the latest. Can you imagine what kind of national security disaster is that we get thousands of pounds of critical minerals from China for our most sophisticated weaponry? Those days are gone, sir. They're done. Our highest levels of our military, I believe,
but America's long surrender is over.
Yes, faith right now. You know why? Because alternative is something I choose.
No, I agree. Like, we can be mad at Trump all day and feed the fire. That's great, but it's light years better than what we had with Kamala. In the last few minutes, closing comments, any tidbits you'd hit Pete Santilli?
Yeah, I want to strongly encourage you to really dig it. The Cam Higby pieces that were put out there that was neat. They got the signal chats. Why is that important to the average viewer? I want to speak to the viewer right now. You need to understand that if you look at those signal chats
who do you think hacked the government or a private guy?
Hacked the signal chats?
Well, now we got hacked to take it over.
Millie Weaver has two internal moles. She's worked with, she's infiltrated them over the past 4 or 5 years. The NGOs back during the 2024 election, and most recently, she has people internally that are collecting all this data.
No, I know, but you saw they just released the chats 2 weeks ago. Last week, like Thursday, they took control and overrode it with Tom Homan memes. You saw that, right?
Yes, but there are multiple layers there. There's higher levels.
No, that's just one system. Yeah.
I think it's Marie Stephan. She was a Colbert. She's a former State Department official. She's leading the effort. They're running this color revolution behind the scenes. There's leadership. They're switching links, but they still have the training materials, and it gets distributed electronically. They are. If you think it was confusing to talk about servers and stuff at the beginning, imagine them running this very sophisticated system. This is what I heard, sir. No disrespect to our administration, but they're overwhelmed. They're overwhelmed right now, and that's why I say the military has to be involved right now. Pam Bondi, do you think she has the capacity to piece together?
Let's just say we're at war. The answer is to decapitate the leadership of the globalists. And I'm not a guy that talks like that. We're at this point, we're in a war. Washington will be signing, what warrants. The games need to stop.
We have to. That's why I would have to assume, for a situation like this, you'd have to have military JAG officers preparing for tribunals, yes?
I don't think you have tribunals at this point, Pete.
No?
No.
You don't think you can? It's got to go through the regular courts?
No.
You trust the
judges? The opposite direction, helicopter rides.
Yes, absolutely. I hope so.
They're hoping to kill 30 million people with shots. It's Pinochet helicopter rides.
Yeah,
I absolutely hope that happens. I'm not into this. I don't like it, but this is where we are.
This is exactly where we're at, sir. This is exactly where we're at, and everyone needs to recognize. Now, everybody, people are like, "Oh, get guns!" And you know what? Prepare to protect life, liberty, and property at your
protect the infrastructure, take control of the government, and then give the top levels helicopter rides.
Local
but if you gave a few levels helicopter rides, they'd all give up. We can stop the bloodshed war. Trying to save lives. I'm not a guy that into helicopter rides. I just reach helicopter ride time because they want to. I'm serious, Pete.
Yeah. Oh, it's
time for 100 globalists to go
One final comment. One final comment. This is documented proof. It is well established that John Brennan himself, the Muslim convert, and Zbigniew Brzezinski met with Barack Obama and groomed him in Pakistan. That's why it's well documented. John Brennan Company got caught scrubbing Barack Obama's passport. Oh,
100%.
I thought you were thinking that I was coming up with a conspiracy theory. John Brennan allowed 13 of the 9/11 hijackers through Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. 2 of those, I read the transcript.
No, I read the head of the embassy that said he was ordered by Brennan to let him in.
He was. And 2 of the 9/11 hijackers that were allowed in by John Brennan were working for him and CIA assets.
No,
John Brennan's already well documented for attempting a coup a long time ago. This has been an ongoing thing.
Here's John Brennan. All the king's horses and all the king's men can't put your new order back together again. So When I talk about helicopter rides,
Amen.
I'm saying the point you've taken is, I want to stop war, I want to stop nuclear war, stop mass death, and you've taken us to this place. So you did this. I'm just being completely honest. Like, I'm not Mr. Big Tough Guy. I'm not Mr. Oh, I did this, that. I'm saying, well, you've taken us to this point, and I'll back Trump right now to drop the hammer. Pete Santilli, thank you so much. People can find you at Peter Santilli on X and link tapgun.com. Pete Santilli. Pete, we'll talk to you soon. To you.
Yep. Thank you, Alex. Great segment. Thank you.
Great.
Oh, yep. I just wanted to bring that to y'all real quick. This rising. Got to get my day started. Y'all be easy. Right on for slide through. T-Dub American Business. TEP. The enemy's public. I'm out of here. Peace.